To the state, you are not a person. You are a number on a return, a withholding line in a payroll file, a row in a database that updates every April. And here is the thing nobody says out loud. Your value to the system is not fixed. It changes based on one variable, your tax bracket. The more leverage you have, the differently the same government treats you. Same flag, same laws on paper, completely different machine working behind the curtain. Let me walk you through every level, from the citizen who serves the system to the family that quietly owns it. Level 1. The taxpayer. This is where most people live their entire lives, and they never even feel the walls. You wake up, you go to work, and before that paycheck ever touches your hands, the government has already been paid. Look at your pay stub sometime. The number at the top, your gross, that was never yours. By the time it reaches you, federal income tax is gone, Social Security is gone, Medicare is gone, state tax is gone. Maybe 30 cents on the dollar, vanished, and you never held it long enough to miss it. That is not an accident. That is design. It is called withholding, and it exists because a system learned almost a century ago that people pay much more willingly when they never feel the money leave. You do not write a check, you do not feel the wound, you just get the smaller number and call it normal. At this level, you are compliant by structure. You cannot really cheat even if you wanted to, because your employer reports your income to the government before you do. Every dollar you earn arrives pre-confessed. Your taxes are essentially automatic. Your deductions are limited to a standard amount the system decides for you, and your interactions with the state are one-directional. They send you a form. You fill it out. You hope you got it right, because if you didn't, a letter arrives with your name and a penalty, and there is no one to negotiate with. You call a number, you wait on hold for 40 minutes, and a person who has never heard your name reads you a rule. You are not a client here. You are a source. The system does not hate you. It simply processes you, the way a river processes a stone, without ever noticing it's there. Level 2. The high net worth entity. Something shifts when your wealth crosses a certain line, somewhere north of a few million in assets, real ones, not just a good salary. Suddenly, you stop being a row in a database and you become a relationship. The same government that auto-deducted your neighbor's paycheck now sits across a table from your representatives. Because at this level, you don't file taxes. Your team files taxes. You have a CPA who specializes in people exactly like you, an attorney who structures your holdings, and together they don't ask, how much do I owe? They ask, how do we legally owe less? And the system lets them. This is the part that stuns people when they first see it. The tax code is not one set of rules. It is a thick book where the simple pages are for everyone, and the complicated pages, the ones that take a specialist to even read, are written for you. You stop earning ordinary income, the kind taxed at the highest rate, and you start earning capital gains, taxed far lower. You hold your assets inside structures, an LLC here, a trust there, a holding company that pays for the car, the office, the travel, all before tax instead of after. Your money now works the way the government's money works. It moves before it gets touched. When the IRS does come knocking, they don't send you a form letter. They open an audit, and an audit is a negotiation. Your lawyers and their agents argue interpretation, precedent, grey area. You are no longer a stone in the river. You are a party to the conversation. The system still wants its cut, but now it has to ask, and it has to be reasonable, because you can afford to make saying no expensive. Level 3, the global power player. Now the geography itself becomes optional. At this level, hundreds of millions, billion-dollar enterprises, capital that moves across borders with a keystroke, you no longer fit inside a single country's rules, so you stop choosing just one. You domicile your company where the corporate tax is lowest. You route your intellectual property through a jurisdiction that barely taxes it. You become a tax resident of a place that does not tax foreign income at all, and you keep a passport, or 3, ready for the moment. Any one government becomes inconvenient. The relationship inverts here. At level 1, the country has power over you. At level 3, you have something the country needs: jobs, investment, headquarters, the appearance of growth that politicians put in speeches. So they court you. A finance minister takes the meeting personally. They offer you a tax holiday, a custom incentive package, a subsidy with your company's name written into it. The same machine that withheld 30% from a cashier now offers a billionaire a decade of zero, just to plant a factory inside the borders. You are not negotiating with the system anymore. You are choosing which system competes hardest for you. And the governments know it. They are no longer collecting from you. They are bidding. Level 4, the dynasty founder. This is the level almost no one sees, because by the time you reach it, your name has been deliberately removed from the things you control. You are not on the title of the building. You are not the listed owner of the company. You are not even, on paper, especially rich. Your wealth has stopped being something you hold and become something that holds itself. A structure that outlives you, that pays no estate tax because it never technically dies, that passes from one generation to the next without the state ever getting the moment it waits for. Because here is the secret the system relies on at every level below this one. It makes its real money when wealth changes hands. When you die, when assets transfer, when income realizes, that's the toll booth. The dynasty's entire architecture is built to make sure that moment never arrives. Picture it concretely. There is a foundation. It owns the operating company. The foundation has a charitable purpose written into its charter, so it is exempt, and it deploys its money according to a mission the founder defined a generation ago. There is a trust beneath it, irrevocable, meaning even the family cannot touch the principal, which is precisely why the government cannot tax it as theirs. The children do not inherit money. They inherit positions. A seat on a board, a role at the foundation with a salary attached, a house owned by an entity that they are permitted to live in. They never receive a windfall, so there is never a taxable event. They simply step into a machine that was running before they were born and will keep running after they're gone. At this level, you do not negotiate with the system, and you do not even bid against other systems. You wrote a part of the system. The lawyers who build these structures are the same lawyers who advised the legislators who drafted the rules. The think tank that publishes the paper your senator quotes, your foundation funds it. The university chair studying tax policy, your name is on the door. You are no longer subject to the law in any way that resembles the cashier on level 1. You are upstream of it. When the rules are debated, your interest is already in the room before the debate begins, sitting quietly in the language of the bill itself. You are not a variable anymore. You are a constant the equation was built around. And here is what binds all 4 levels into one truth. The man on level 1 and the family on level 4 live under the same flag, salute the same anthem, obey the same constitution. But they are not in the same country. One country sends letters and penalties and waits on hold. The other country sends a minister to lunch. The law is written once, in a single language, but it is read 4 different ways, depending on what you can afford to bring to the reading. The tax code is not a wall. It is a membrane, solid for those who must push against it, and quietly permeable for those who know exactly where to lean. So go back to that pay stub, the gross at the top, the smaller number at the bottom, the 30 cents that vanished before you ever felt them. That gap is not a glitch. It is the most honest sentence the system ever speaks to you. It is telling you, in plain arithmetic, exactly which level you are standing on. The withholding, the audit, the negotiation, the bidding war, the foundation that never dies. These are not 5 different governments. They are one government wearing 5 faces, and the face it shows you is decided long before you ever walk in the door. It is decided by the variable, by what you are worth to the machine. Most people spend their whole lives believing the rules are the rules, fixed, universal, the same for everyone who plays fair. And they are right, in the only way that doesn't matter. The rules are identical. It is the reading that is for sale. The taxpayer obeys the law. The high net worth entity interprets it. The global player chooses which version of it to live under. And the dynasty, generations deep, simply writes the next draft. You are not a citizen to the state. You never were. You are a number that the system has already priced. And the only question that has ever mattered is which side of the membrane you were born to stand on, and whether you ever learned the wall was thinner than it looked.